If you want to produce a podcast, you'll need a computer and audio sequencer, and there is a lot to choose from. Hi, I'm Mike, and today I'll talk about what audio software I use for podcast production. Hi, I'm Mike Migas, producer of Casefile True Crime Podcast and Casefile Presents shows. On this channel, I release videos on audio, podcasting, and what it's like to be a podcast producer. So if you like the content, hit like and subscribe buttons. And just to make it clear, I won't be talking about choosing audio sequencers, but I rather lead with what is my main working software. Also, this is not a sponsored video, I'm not getting paid, and it's not a recommendation, but an insight into my workflow. In the past, I've used quite a few different programs, from Cakewalk Sonar, I don't know if they make it anymore, Ableton, Adobe Audition, Cubase, and Logic. And I used Logic as my main software for a few years during my studies. However, just before I started working at a movie studio, which was my previous job, I learned that one program is used more than others in a professional audio environment, and that's Avid Pro Tools. During my years at the movie studio, I've honed my skills and operated in Pro Tools every single day, and that's how I slowly moved everything there. Even though the MIDI capabilities weren't as good as some other programs, like Logic for example, a lot of people use Logic, especially for music production. I prefer to work and know just one main audio sequencer than have several different ones. But again, that's just me, that's how I work. What I like about Pro Tools is speed and reliability. It does what I tell it to do. Speed, that comes with keyboard shortcuts rather than using mouse to operate. And there is tons of shortcuts in Pro Tools and you can program your own ones. Reliability, it means it works well most of the time. And I say most of the time because when you've got a lot of CPU heavy plugins for mixing and mastering, it does crash from time to time. But I wouldn't say it's user friendly, especially for a beginner podcaster. There are other more intuitive software than Pro Tools. Also, Pro Tools is lacking in some areas of in-a-box effects and plugins. If you're looking for audio restoration, things like the noise, the click, then you won't find it in Pro Tools. You'll need third-party plugins. And in contrast, Adobe Audition, for example, comes with a plethora of effects, plugins, as well as the audio restoration effects. If you're serious about podcast production, or maybe you want to work with other people as audio producer, then check out Pro Tools because it's still kind of a standard in an industry. They have a free version, I think it's called Pro Tools Lite or Pro Tools First. It's kind of limited, but it will give you an insight into the interface. And like most of the software companies, they run a subscription model, so you pay monthly for the latest version of Pro Tools and latest updates. For years, I've used Pro Tools on a perpetual license, which I got with Pro Tools 9, and that was like 10 years ago when I was still studying. However, a couple of months ago, I did move to a subscription model. And that's because the latest version that I could use on that perpetual license was Pro Tools 12.4, and that wasn't supported on Mac OS Catalina, and I've also updated my iMac to Catalina. So now I work on Pro Tools 2020 subscription model, and I get latest updates where and when they come out. Avid Pro Tools is what I use for producing Casefile and other shows, but I do use third-party plugins for mixing and mastering. But that's a topic for another video. Do you have any questions? Do you use Pro Tools? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. But that's it for today. I'm Mike from Mike Migas Production. Share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you later.